everyone, welcome to Bella's Crochet Gifts. I'm Bella. All right, so today I have some finished objects for you, and I also have some works in progress to show. So let's start with some finished objects. All right, so I have gotten quite a few new yarns lately, and I really wanted to work them up so that you could also see how they turned out. So this gorgeous shawl is using the KNC cotton Lurex yarn that just came out from Joann's. Sorry about that. I got a text. Okay, so this is the yarn. I'm going to show it to you again. I really love this shawl pattern too. So it is a half circle shawl. So it's basically my wingspan, which is about 5'1", and this yarn is so pretty. And I love how it worked up. So you can wear it over your arms. And I did add picots to the border. So it's a really good size. So it comes down to the arms. So it's a nice over the shoulders pattern. But you can also wear it in front, which you know I love that. All right. So, oh yes. Okay. So about this yarn, I did not have any problems working with this yarn. There was a review on the Joann's website that said that the sparkle, the Lurex, snapped on hers. I did not have a problem with this. I did have a problem with it splitting away from the yarn occasionally, but I did start using this with knitting and decided that I am not a good enough knitter to not split my stitches all the time. So I did go to a crochet hook, and I love how this worked up. This is gorgeous. It's lightweight. It feels amazing. So this is the KNC Knit and Crochet. It is the higher end house brand from Joann's. The product is called Hand Dyed, and this is 94% cotton, 6% Lurex. It is 437 yards or 400 meters. It is 3.52 ounces or 100 grams. And this says it's a super fine #1, machine washable, do not tumble dry, dry flat. Let's see, this is the color Ocean Blue, and it calls for a 3mm needles and a 3.5mm hook. So what I did, I ended up buying a second one. I felt like it just wasn't a big enough shawl for me. Let me try not to lose this. Oh, here we go. So what I did was I bought a second skein, and I used probably about a quarter of the cake on this project. It says it's a #1, but I feel like it's a little bit thicker. I feel like it could be a 2. And the Lurex did pull up in places. So if you're not used to using a carry-along yarn or a carry-along metallic, you might find it a little bit splitty for you. I didn't have issues all the time, but there are places in this shawl where the loop has come off or come up with the Lorax. So just be mindful of that. And I didn't have any problems with it being, like sometimes with the metallics, when it's an actual strand, it'll pull tight and then end up snapping, which might be what happened with the one lady. But with me, I did not have that problem. And I felt like it was wrapped around well enough and loose enough that it wasn't going to snap. So you can really see the Lorax in that. So like it is looped loosely enough that it shouldn't be a problem, but not so loose that you are going to be splitting your stitches every single time. Like I said, it happened occasionally, and if I noticed, then I went back and fixed it. If I didn't, then I didn't really worry about it. It wasn't extremely obvious because it is such a small strand. But this is how much I have left. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of it. I'll probably make a headband at least, and then I don't know. I have some other patterns that might be nice to make another shawlette or even like a lacy scarf. That could be really fun. It worked up really easily. I enjoyed the yarn, and I cannot get over how gorgeous it is. I mean, it is just so pretty. All right, so that's my first finished object. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even tell you about this. Wow. Okay, we're going to rewind a little bit. Maybe I'll insert this. Okay, so this shawl is the semicircle crochet shawl pattern, apricot rose, and it is by Annie Design Crochet. And I really like how it worked up. It's a wonderful pattern. It was easy to do. I liked it. It was a little bit of a variety. So it's got the window stitches, but it also has, where are you? It also has bobble stitches in it. I don't know if you can see them right here. We've got bobble stitches. I loved how it worked up. I would definitely do this pattern again. I did use a G hook, so it was like 4.25 millimeter. So I did go up a hook size for this pattern. And I think this was written for a lighter weight yarn, so it was pretty close to suggested yarn size. Okay, 1 second. My second finished object you've actually seen already. It was quite a bit done to begin with. This is the made with the cinnamon swirl cake, the Karen cinnamon swirl cake, and it was the pattern Crochet Pistachio Wrap by MJ's Off the Hook Designs. And I told you last time that I used not the same size she does. She uses a 5 and like a 15 millimeter. So I used a 4 weight and a 12 millimeter. But this is how it turned out. It's really pretty. It's nice and big. I mean, it's really big. I like the feel of it. It worked up very nice. I enjoy the yarn quite a bit. The only problem I had was there was quite a bit of knots. This is only one cake, and I think I had 5 knots that I had to cut out and reattach in the one cake. So that was a little disappointing. but I really like the feel of the yarn. In fact, I like it more since it's been worked up than in the cake. I thought it felt a tiny bit stiffer, but now that it's out of the cake and it has like more room, it feels like a softer yarn to me. And I love the colors. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I really like this design. I think I might do it again in the future, especially because I do like my lacy, lightweight type of projects. And this just turned out so beautiful. And I love the striping. So I'm extremely happy with that. It turned out really nice and I would suggest it. But just be mindful, it might have just been that cake, but you might see some knots in this yarn. So that was my second finished object. Let's see. I did start, if you remember, when I had my unboxing of the knit picks, I got some of this. This was the Comfy Color Mist in the color Ditto. I started a project with it. So I did this one crochet, this one is knit. It is the pattern, let's see, Solar Flares, and it's by Drops Design. And this is the exact kind of pattern I've been looking for quite a while, and I am super excited with how it's turning out. So here we go. Let's see. It might be a little hard to see, but it's got the yarn overs here along the edge, and then it's also got sections of the yarn overs. Like there's one, there's one. So I have tried to do like the yarn over lace projects, and a lot of times it I'll get off by a stitch and then suddenly it looks stupid. I'm not sure if I have it right here, but I made a knit scarf out of the bloom yarn, and I tried to do lace sections, and like every single time I messed up. Oh, it was so frustrating. So this pattern, it has the yarn overs, and so you're getting a little, like if I were to have a different color top or something, you'll be able to see little peekaboo stitches of the yarn overs, but it's not like stacked on top of each other, so if I make a mistake, it's not going to be completely obvious. So, and it's going to be like, it's got the shallow point, and so it's going to be another one kind of like this, where I put it in the front and cross it over. But I am only on the second repeat of the yarn over section, and so I'm not sure how big it's gonna be in total, but she had it wrapped pretty generously around her neck, and so I'm thinking it'll be much bigger. But I'm loving how it's turning out. This yarn is working up really squishy. I love the feel of it. Let me tell you about the yarn again really quick. All right, so this was 75% Pima, 25% acrylic. It is a medium weight number 4 and is machine washable, tumble dry low, and this was from Knit Picks. So I really like this yarn. I think it is extremely nice to work with. I like the feel of it. I really like how how squishy and soft it feels. So I highly recommend that as well. And then also from Knit Picks, I had that Snuggle Puff yarn I told you about. So I started a project with that as well. I'm trying to go through and show a little bit of each of the kinds that I talked about before, so that you guys will have more information in case you decide to order some yourself. So this is, it's going to be okay, so it is a combination hat, cowl, or scarf. So there was a lady in my mom's office who had this really cool, it was essentially a scarf that you could open up and then stick it over your head and have it as like a little hood with a cowl. So I was like, I want to try that. So I am using a rather large knitting needle. So this is a 8mm. These are my Chowgoos. They're the wood ones, and it's interchangeable. So this cable is 24 inches, and then it has the needle part, obviously. Anyways, and it's coming up with these larger stitches. So I'm hoping that it'll make a nice, hood slash, if you pull it out, it'll be more of a scarf. So we'll see how it works out. If it ends up silly, then I might frog it. I don't know. Or just keep it as a scarf or whatever. But that was my thought. And this stuff works up beautifully. It is extremely squishy. It's got some really nice stitch definition, if you can see that. Yeah, so I think this is gorgeous, and I'm just working on it here and there. I'm mostly working on the shawl right now just because it's like, ooh, something new. And this is just kind of mindless knitting. So that's another thing I started. And then, okay, sorry about that. For my last work in progress, I have another shawl. It is, it was the Crochet Me shawl, and it is by Crochet with Clare. And I am using this gorgeous yarn that I got when I was actually shopping with my mother-in-law up in Maryland. We went to Magpie, I believe it was Magpie Fibers. They do Magpie Fibers on-site dyeing. And so I got 2 of these skeins. It was the Equinox Sport. It's 60% silk, 40% linen. It was 368 yards, 110 grams. This is called Velvet Underground. Let's see. So I did buy 2 of these. I am still on the first skein, but this is so pretty. Look at that. It is such a gorgeous yarn. So I'm going to be combining two different patterns. There is another pattern, I believe it is called In the Garden, where it has kind of this type of stitch, but I tried it with this because this is a, let's see what I say, a sport weight, so that's a 2. because it was a sport weight, I thought the pattern was not showing up right. And so I tried it with a four weight yarn to start the pattern, and I didn't like how it looked. So I am going to be combining the Crochet Me shawl and the Into the Garden shawl. So I'm going to do the edgings with the Into the Garden shawl. But this is the yarn that I caked up back in October and was like, I'm going to make a shawl. And then everything happened. So I've been working on this off and on. I am using a D hook. So I got my little stitch marker that has the information, and then I've got other stitch markers. I will put a progress creeper in here so that I can show you when I'm further along, or if I end up finishing, then, you know, then there's that. But anyways, this is the last thing I have worked on. It is coming along nicely. I am using a small hook, so it will take a little bit of time. This is how much I have of the first cake, and then I have a whole second cake. So that is what I've been working on. I hope you guys are enjoying your crafting time. If you want to tell me what you're working on, I'd love to know, whether in the comments or in an email. I've had a couple of people share their progress for different projects in my email, and I love it. So if that is something you would like to share, I'd love to see it. And then other than that, I'm just working on my movie marquee and just finishing stuff as it comes along. So my allergies have been a little bit rough for the spring. It's been extremely pollinated. So it's been a little bit harder to sit and talk for a while, but I am so excited to show you all my makes and hope that you enjoy what I've been working on. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night or whatever it is. I hope it's wonderful.